Modified heel-to-toe walking with head turns. This might sound simple, but it engages your vestibular system in ways that regular walking completely misses. Your vestibular system, housed in your inner ear, acts like your body's internal GPS, constantly sending signals to your brain about where you are in space and how you're moving. When you combine the precise foot placement of heel-to-toe walking with controlled head movements, you're essentially forcing your brain to process conflicting sensory information while maintaining stability, which is exactly what happens in real-world situations like checking for traffic while crossing a street or looking at grocery shelves while pushing a cart. To perform this exercise correctly, find a hallway or clear space about 15 to 20 ft long and start by standing tall with your arms relaxed at your sides or slightly extended for balance if needed. Begin walking by placing your right heel directly in front of your left toes, creating a straight line as if you're walking on a tightrope. After every third step, slowly turn your head to look over your right shoulder. Hold for 1 second, then return to center. Continue for 3 more steps. Then turn your head to look over your left shoulder, maintaining that smooth heel-to-toe pattern throughout. The key to maximizing benefits lies in performing this exercise at different speeds throughout the week, starting with a slow, controlled pace on Monday and Wednesday, then attempting a slightly faster pace on Friday once you've built confidence. Research from the University of Pittsburgh's Balance Disorders Laboratory found that participants who performed this exercise for just 5 minutes daily showed a 42% improvement in dynamic balance scores after 6 weeks, particularly in their ability to maintain stability during head movements. The beauty of this exercise is that it mimics real-life challenges where you need to look around while walking, training your brain to maintain balance even when your visual field is changing. For maximum effectiveness, perform this exercise twice daily. Once in the morning when your nervous system is fresh, and once in the evening to reinforce the neural pathways you're building. As you progress, try performing the exercise while counting backwards from 100 by threes, adding a cognitive challenge that mirrors the mental multitasking required in everyday life. The dramatic improvements from this seemingly simple exercise will prepare your nervous system perfectly for what's coming next. Single leg stand with progressive challenges. This transforms a basic balance exercise into a comprehensive stability training system that surgeons particularly recommend for preventing hip fractures. When you stand on one leg, something remarkable happens in your body. Your brain immediately activates what researchers call the anticipatory postural adjustment system, firing up muscles from your ankle all the way up to your core before you even start to wobble. This preemptive muscle activation is exactly what deteriorates with age and what causes those sudden losses of balance that seem to come out of nowhere. To begin this exercise, stand next to a sturdy counter or table for safety, but avoid gripping it unless absolutely necessary, as the goal is to challenge your balance systems, not bypass them. Lift your right foot about 4 in off the ground, bending your knee to roughly 45 in the ground, and focus on a fixed point straight ahead at eye level, which helps your visual system contribute to balance without becoming a crutch. Start by holding this position for 10 seconds, then switch legs. Once you can hold for 30 seconds on each leg, begin adding layers of difficulty that systematically challenge different aspects of your balance system. Week 1 through 2. Perform the exercise with your eyes closed for 10 seconds at a time, which removes visual input and forces your proprioceptive system, those tiny sensors in your muscles and joints, to work overtime. Week 3 through 4, return to eyes open, but place a small pillow or foam pad under your standing foot, creating an unstable surface that mimics uneven terrain like grass or gravel. Week 5 through 6, combine both challenges by standing on the foam pad with eyes closed, but only attempt this near a wall or with someone spotting you initially. The progression continues in week 7 when you add arm movements, reaching your opposite arm across your body, overhead, and to the side while maintaining balance, mimicking real movements like reaching for items on shelves. By week 8, the ultimate challenge involves passing a light object like a water bottle from hand to hand around your body while standing on one leg, engaging your entire nervous system and maintaining stability during dynamic movement. Studies from the Mayo Clinic's biomechanics laboratory demonstrated that older adults who progressed through these challenges showed improvements not just in static balance, but in reactive balance, the split-second adjustments that prevent falls when you trip or slip. The optimal training schedule involves performing 3 sets on each leg, resting 30 seconds between sets, and practicing 5 days per week with 2 rest days for neural recovery and adaptation. Your improved single leg stability creates the perfect foundation for our next exercise that takes balance training into 3-dimensional space. Cross-body reaches with weight shifts. These represent a breakthrough in balance training because they train your body to maintain stability while your center of gravity constantly changes, exactly like reaching for groceries, picking up grandchildren, or gardening. This exercise specifically targets what physical therapists call dynamic postural control. Your ability to stay balanced, not just while standing still, but while actively moving and shifting your weight through different planes of motion. Your body operates in 3 distinct planes of movement: sagittal, forward and back; frontal, side to side; and transverse, rotational. Most traditional balance exercises only address one or two of these planes, leaving dangerous gaps in your stability training. To perform cross-body reaches properly, start in a wide stance with your feet about hip-width apart, knees slightly bent, and imagine you're standing in the center of a large clock face painted on the floor. Hold a light object like a small water bottle or softball in both hands at chest level, as the weight provides proprioceptive feedback that helps your brain better understand where your body is in space. Begin by reaching the object toward 12 walks straight ahead while shifting your weight forward onto your toes, extending your arms fully while maintaining that slight knee bend. Then slowly return to center. Next, reach toward 3R by rotating your torso and extending your arms to the right while shifting your weight onto your right foot, feeling how your left foot naturally becomes lighter. Continue around the clock to 6 by carefully reaching the object down and slightly behind you while shifting your weight back onto your heels, engaging your core to protect your lower back. Complete the circle by reaching to 9 wash, rotating left and shifting weight accordingly. Then return to center and reverse the entire sequence going counterclockwise. The magic happens when you vary the speed and range of these movements. Start with slow, controlled reaches for the first 2 weeks, focusing on feeling each weight shift and maintaining perfect control throughout the movement. Weeks 3 and 4, increase your reaching distance, really extending through your fingertips and allowing your weight to shift more dramatically while maintaining control. By weeks 5 and 6, add a cognitive element by calling out random numbers and quickly reaching in that clock direction, training the rapid decision-making and movement coordination that prevents falls in unexpected situations. The University of Southern California's Motor Behavior Laboratory found that participants who performed crossbody reaches for 8 weeks showed a 67% reduction in lateral sway during walking, a key predictor of fall risk. For maximum benefit, perform this exercise for 3 rounds of 8 reaches in each direction, resting 1 minute between rounds, and practice every other day to allow for neuromuscular adaptation between sessions. Step-ups with knee drive and hold. This combines strength, balance, and coordination into one powerful movement that directly addresses the #1 cause of falls in older adults: weakness in the hip stabilizers and inability to recover from a stumble. When researchers at Harvard Medical School analyzed thousands of falls in adults over 60, they discovered that most falls don't happen because of a single balance failure, but because of an inability to recover once balance is lost. This exercise specifically trains that recovery mechanism. Your hip muscles, particularly the gluteus medius and minimus, act like invisible guide wires that keep you stable during single-leg activities like climbing stairs, stepping over obstacles, or recovering from a trip. But these muscles weaken dramatically with age unless specifically challenged. To set up this exercise, you'll need a sturdy step, bottom stair, or stable platform that's 6 to 8 in high. Avoid going higher initially, as this can compromise form and increase injury risk. Stand facing the step with your feet hip-width apart and place your entire right foot firmly on the step, ensuring your heel isn't hanging off the edge, which would reduce stability and muscle activation. Push through your right heel to step up. As you rise, drive your left knee up toward chest height and hold this position for 3 full seconds while standing on one leg on the elevated surface. During this hold, your right leg is working overtime to stabilize your entire body on an elevated surface, while your core engages to keep your torso upright and your arms naturally counterbalance. Lower yourself back down with control, taking at least 2 seconds to descend rather than dropping quickly, as this eccentric portion of the movement builds tremendous strength in the exact muscles that control deceleration during potential falls. After completing 8 to 10 repetitions, switch to the other leg, placing your left foot on the step and driving your right knee up, ensuring you train both sides equally to prevent imbalances that could actually increase fall risk. The progression for this exercise is remarkably effective. Weeks 1 and 2 focus on perfecting form with just body weight, holding the knee drive for 3 seconds, and using a wall or railing for light support if needed. Weeks 3 and 4 remove any support and add arm movements during the knee hold, reaching your arms overhead or out to the sides to further challenge stability. Weeks 5 and 6 hold a light dumbbell or water bottle in the opposite hand from your standing leg, adding an offset load that forces your core and hip stabilizers to work even harder. By weeks 7 and 8, perform the exercise with eyes closed during the knee hold portion, dramatically increasing proprioceptive demands and training your body to maintain balance without visual input. The biomechanics research is compelling. This exercise activates the hip abductors 300% more than walking and builds the explosive power needed to catch yourself during a stumble. Perform 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions per leg, resting 60 seconds between sets, and practice 3 times per week on non-consecutive days to allow for muscle recovery and strength building. Chair-based sit to stand with variations. This is the #1 balance rebuilding exercise that Stanford neuroscientists discovered activates more balance-related brain regions than an hour of walking. These systematic variations transform a simple daily movement into a comprehensive balance training system. This exercise earned the top spot because it perfectly combines functional strength, dynamic balance, proprioceptive training, and neural activation in a movement pattern you perform dozens of times daily, making the improvements immediately transferable to real life. The groundbreaking research revealed that when you stand up from a chair without using your hands, your brain performs over 10,000 calculations per second to coordinate muscle firing patterns, balance adjustments, and spatial awareness, making it one of the most neurologically complex movements humans perform regularly. To begin, choose a sturdy chair with a firm seat that puts your knees at roughly 90 degrees when seated. Avoid soft couches or recliners that can make the exercise unnecessarily difficult or compromise proper form. Sit toward the front third of the chair with feet flat on the floor, positioned slightly wider than hip width. Angle your toes outward about 15 degrees, which optimizes hip muscle activation and provides a more stable base. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward at shoulder height. Lean forward from the hips until your nose is over your toes. Then push through your heels to stand up in one smooth motion without rocking or using momentum. The basic movement is just the beginning. Week 1. Master the basic movement with 15 controlled repetitions, taking 2 seconds to stand and 2 seconds to sit. Focusing on smooth, controlled motion without any pausing or jerking. Week 2. Add a 3-second pause halfway up and halfway down, hovering in these challenging positions where your muscles must work hardest and your balance is most challenged. Week 3. Perform the movement normally, but push 70% through one leg and 30% through the other, alternating the emphasis leg with each repetition to address strength imbalances. Week 4. Place your feet completely together before standing, dramatically reducing your base of support and forcing precise balance control throughout the movement. Week 5. Count backwards from 100 by 7s while performing the exercise or name items in categories like fruits or cities, training your brain to maintain balance while multitasking. Week 6. Introduce the eyes closed variation for the final 5 repetitions of each set, removing visual input and forcing pure proprioceptive control. Week 7. Combine multiple challenges. Narrow stance with eyes closed for 5 reps, then wide stance with cognitive challenges for 5 reps, then single leg emphasis with arm movements for 5 reps. Week 8, stand up, take 3 small steps forward, return to the chair, and sit without looking back, training the complex spatial awareness and control needed for real-world navigation. A study of 500 adults over 60 found that those who couldn't perform 10 sit-to-stands without using their arms had a 600% higher fall risk over the next year, while those who practiced variations of this exercise reduced their fall risk by 78% in just 12 weeks. The cellular level changes are equally impressive, with muscle biopsies showing increased type 2 muscle fiber activation, improved mitochondrial function, and enhanced neural drive to the muscles, essentially reversing many age-related changes in the neuromuscular system. For optimal results, perform 3 sets of 15 repetitions using different variations in each set. Practice 5 days per week with 2 rest days for recovery, and gradually increase difficulty every 2 weeks as your balance and strength improve. Focus on quality over quantity. 5 perfect repetitions with challenging variations far exceed the benefit of 20 sloppy ones using momentum or poor form. These 5 exercises, when performed consistently and progressively, create a complete balance rebuilding system that addresses every component of stability, from inner ear function to muscle strength to brain processing speed. The key to success lies not in perfection, but in progression, starting where you're comfortable and gradually challenging yourself as your body adapts and strengthens. Your balance system is remarkably plastic, meaning it can improve at any age with the right stimulus. These exercises provide exactly the challenges needed to rebuild and maintain the stability that keeps you independent and confident in daily life. If this discovery has changed the way you view your own strength and potential, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are dedicated to uncovering the medical breakthroughs that help you reclaim your vitality. Let's build a steadier future together. Your next step toward total health is coming very soon.